Crash is back, and he's... Listen, kids, I'm f***ing knackered at the moment as I've set myself the arduous task of completing the Sane Trilogy 100%. And you know what? Some of the levels from this lovable Lombax lookalike are so infuriating, so challenging, so downright f***busting that I find a constant urge to scream rising in my throat like a goddamn banshee. And yes, I know the Lombax came after, but it's for wordplay, and wordplay is king. So what I've done is I've roped in fellow gamer lads, Peter and Scott.
Hi.
And they're going to help me go through some of the most arduous and challenging levels in a big old list, because we love lists,
What
don't we,
does
Jazz?
busting mean?
I'll teach you when you're older and a bit bigger.
So Ratchet and Clank.
With this in mind, I'm
Crash
Jules.
Bandicoot.
With this in mind, I'm Jules.
I'm Peter. I'm Scott.
And these are the 10 most infuriatingly difficult levels in Crash Bandicoot's Sane Trilogy. Number 10, Native Fortress Crash Bandicoot. Kicking off this list is Native Fortress, which itself is a swift kick to your Fabergé eggs. Now, up until this point, the original game had been hand-holdingly nice, offering up easy patterns and enemies for you to lap up. But then Native Fortress comes along and impales you on its difficulty spike. Requiring precise jumps over natives, poles, and bowls more fiery than a night after a laxative curry, Native Fortress is an utter bellend of a level. Luckily, you can skip a stupidly hard part of the level by jumping over a fence at the top of the wall, but still, this is where Crash really shows his colours.
Number 9, Fumbling in the Dark. Fumbling in the Dark is a secret level in the original game and can only be accessed by obtaining the key in Jaws of Darkness and then using the entrance after Lights Out, which this is a much more challenging successor to. Just like that level, the player is guided by Aku Aku's masks, which illuminate the otherwise pitch-black corridors of CORTEX's castle. Though it's an incredibly short level, the timing required to leap between the platforms whilst avoiding the guillotine, spiders and rats, and also keeping the path illuminated is, well, quite frankly ridiculous, and only advanced players should even attempt to get through this one.
Number 8, The Lab. Though the lab is actually a relatively short outing for Crash 1, it sure as hell won't feel like it while you're trying to perfectly time these electric bolt traps with the numerous manually activated gates and trapdoors. Now I will say that in Crash Bandicoot of 1996, I didn't actually have too much trouble with this level. However, the Sane version is definitely a step up in hair tearing from its predecessor, to the point that even if you have years of experience besting the lab, you're still in for a tough time in the remaster. For one thing, 90s Crash players will likely fall down this very first trapdoor, as these used to have a distinctive wooden finish, but now blend in much more with the other flooring, so good luck spotting it if you're expecting mahogany. On top of that, the slime blobs here are again much trickier to defeat in Vicarious Visions incarnation than those of 1996, requiring much more precision from the player. But even if you're not a Crash veteran with 20 years of bad habits and muscle memory to break, there are still a few especially harsh trolls in this level that will catch out the newbies too, such as a TNT box being hidden in a seemingly harmless batch of regular crates, and a particularly awkward set of jumps right before the end of the level. Overall, it's just a consistently tricky beast, and I'm so glad I'm done with it.
Number 7, Slippery Climb. Oh boy, we're getting into face-slapping territory now, let me tell ya. This level is like eating asbestos with boxing gloves on, in that it's difficult, requires precise handling, and will make you sick when you fully get into it. Puns, I've got them. The timings required to leap from rain-soaked ledge to weirdly timed ledge to f***ing bird are beyond precise. Checkpoints are far and few between as well, but that's not going to help you when you're aiming for the coloured gem run. Oh, and the bonus level is degree level hard, which adds to the damp fury of this dampened furry. I'm a big fan.
Spitting bars.
I'm a big fan of that one.
At number 6, Totally Bare. This hidden level may only be about 90 seconds long, but it's by far the most difficult of all the polar bear riding levels, with low visibility making it very hard to see the obstacles ahead, and the spacing of enemies and jumps requiring the player to frequently adjust Polar's speed. And with some extremely sneaky placement of leaping whale enemies, this is the very definition of punishing. If for some godforsaken reason you want to try it for yourself, Totally Bare can be accessed by playing Unbearable, and after the bear riding section, run back to Polar, who will trigger the portal to the secret level.
Number 5, Area 51. This is a weird one, because in Area 51, or Area 51, if you want to get serious about this, you won't actually die at all because it's a bike segment. Yay, no lives lost, but that doesn't stop it being infuriatingly difficult. Those of you who don't recognise this level at all really need to work on your time trial game, guys, as you can only get here by collecting 15 relics and entering the 3rd level of Neo Cortex's secret warp room. And when you arrive, oh look Scott, remember how dark it was in Totally Bare? This is going to be fun. Low visibility, asshole UFOs that seem to deliberately knock you off the road, police cars that now come at you head on, and an incredible amount of precision required to actually come first or earn a relic here, all combined together to form a controller-breaking cocktail of rage. If you were to go outside and ride your bike at the real Area 51, you'd likely be shot on sight. And right now, that seems like a pretty pleasant alternative. I'll be back in 5.
Number 4, Road to Nowhere. Ooh, I'm feeling it. This is a spicy bit of rage. So last night, I went and gold relicked this steaming heap. All in all, it took me about 2 hours, and I don't even want to think about platinuming it. You have to be surgical with your timing in order to avoid the gravity-defying hogs and clear those infuriating gaps. But the worst bit about this is the turtles. Those shellends that have somehow made it all the way up to this bridge and are the gatekeeper to success or failure. Get the timing slightly wrong on this and you'll be eating a life and your wall will be eating a fist. You need real understanding of the game's advanced timings to get through this, and yes, I know you can use the ropes to get over some of the traps, but you try hitting those consistently. Grumble!
In at number 3, Hog Wild. One of the earliest roadblocks to your enjoyment when revisiting the first Crash, Vicarious Visions did touch up the hitboxes surrounding those infuriating spike poles and shield-bearing natives. However, you'll still get caught out by the annoyingly off-kilter timing and awkwardly placed sets of obstacles and jumps, purpose-placed to drive you right back to the checkpoint over and over again. We all loved that image of Crash raising his eyebrows and tearing off through the jungle on the back of a screaming hog, but the reality of this level is that it's designed to annoy, punishing you for not memorizing the whole thing through sheer trial and error.
Number 2, Spaced Out. Spaced Out is a piece of shit, and any who claims to have their way through this level without getting a game over is a goddamn lying I feel better already. Spaced Out is the final level before Crash 2's climactic showdown against Dr. Neo Cortex, and these tentacle robots are the worst things ever invented. Now the strategy for dealing with these guys is simple on paper: tentacles up, skid 'em, tentacles down, bop 'em. Top banana. However, the Sane Trilogy really takes pride in its hit detection, and if you touch just a smidge of tentacle while trying to bounce on one of these suckers, Vicarious will be sure to let you know about it. Even when you've got used to handling these guys, the relatively easy piston traps will be sure to catch you out once or twice, and then you've got to deal with some pretty tricky nitro crates and a shrink ray sequence that's much trickier than the one in Spaced Out's little brother, Piston It Away. The only consolation through all of this is that the teeth-grinding challenge here makes the already hilariously easy final boss fight seem even more pathetically simple, so that's something, I guess.
And number 1, the high road. Fuck the high road!